Midnights with Mike at 11 on the dot, where the jokes are warm and the laughs are hot. Mike Bochetti's the name, he's got the charm. With a face like a teddy, no cause for alarm. You've seen him with De Niro, you've seen him with Stern, but now he's here solo. It's Mike's big turn. He's got the jokes, the wit, the surprise. He's Staten Island's greatest comedic prize. It's Midnights with Mike. 11 on the clock.
Who's hot as that?
Yes, she was. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the host and star of Midnights with Mike. You know him. You love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Pachetti.
Everybody, welcome to Midnight with Mike with my great friend, Bobby Tambaro. I said it right.
You nailed it the first time out the gate, buddy.
Well, I've been practicing 9 hours a day for the past 6 days.
Oh, you're a sweetheart for that, Mike.
No
you know
problem.
That doesn't matter. People tune in for you, though.
No, but Bob, how hard of a name is your name to say? Not hard, really, right?
It's medium. It's hard enough that if a host asks me on a show with more than 2 other comics, I go, just say Bobby T.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to make him worry about it. So you're not the only one, Mike. You're just the most famous.
Well, fame is a fleeting thing.
No, you're not wrong, but a good heart like yours, that stays forever.
Thank you,
Bob.
Bob.
This is Midnights with Mike. Mike, what's on your mind? What's chomping at you to start the show this week?
The hurricane, Bob, has been brutal. It's like, and there's so many other factors that go into this, right? First of all, I've been sending prayers and positive thoughts and vibes out to people in Florida and the other states that is effective. Living through Hurricane Sandy was a nightmare to begin with, so I can identify with them. And it's horrible, the damage, people got killed or hurt or maimed, their houses have to restart over again. But there's one thing that really annoys the life out of me now that people have been talking about people claiming the government manufacturing this.
I've heard that claim. I've been known to spread that claim.
Well, but Bob, there's 2 trains of thought for that, and you can agree with either one. And I kind of agree with both. I'm on the fence about this. Okay, the logical one is, no way, God controls the weather. F this. Humans can never do that, no matter how hard they try, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's nonsense. But then, Bob, there's a scientific theory, and that all logic goes out the window. It's science. Always does, right? Bob,
I've been saying that for years, Mike. All logic goes out the window with science. You're not wrong.
Guaranteed, because, Bob, there are scientists that are intelligent enough to create shit like this in the laboratory and unleash it on people.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear? And I know in Saudi Arabia they were having issues because it's good luck if you make it rain on your wedding day.
I heard about that. Yeah. It's like,
they're having massive floods because of it.
No, it's Bob, but how? I told with the logical part.
Oop, I think I lost you for a second there, Mike.
Okay. Well, okay. Like I was saying, science is totally illogical. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
1,000,000%.
Like the logical side of my brain is like, no, this can't happen. It's not human nature. It's not meant to be like this. There's no way it can do this, right?
Right.
But the science part of my brain, the illogical part is like, it can happen in a heartbeat because there are scientists that can create just about anything now.
Oh, 1,000,000%. So if you had to call it right now, what would you say was the cause? Do you think it's just nature, or do you think there's science behind it?
It could be both. It could be people, think about it. That's the perfect treachery. Think about it, right? People that created it are letting people be on the fence about it, like me, thinking, oh, okay, it's probably just nature, you know what I mean? And nature, they blame nature, and then they'll just slip it in all at once, and we'll eventually find out that it's not nature.
And that it's actually science. Somebody cooked it in the lab. I think that's definitely possible.
But right or wrong, Bob, they're hiding behind people on the fence like me because they don't, what I mean? They definitely, I hate being on the fence about it because you can't prove either one right or wrong so far.
No, but I don't think even right now that's what's important. I think that's more important down the road Right
I
now,
know.
I know you said you survived a hurricane.
Oh
How
god,
did
yeah, it
you
was
do it?
horrible.
Can you
Oh
give some
fuck.
advice to anybody who
Sure.
might be going through it in Tampa?
Okay, here's what happened, right? It was starting to rain really hard. And I've been through storms growing up, right? I don't know where you live to have hurricanes in your part of the country, in Pennsylvania or Tennessee at all.
Tennessee, the worst we had was flat winds. Pennsylvania, no real
Do
hurricanes.
you have any kind of tornadoes or anything like that there or no?
Tornadoes on the regular. Yeah,
Well,
nonstop.
that lethal too, Bob. They're no joke either. Tornadoes right now.
No, they're very lethal. They're, but not as lethal as a hurricane.
Well, because what happened was, what do you call it? It started to rain really heavy, right? Then started to rain tremendously, right? Okay, I look outside an hour later. My brother had a Jimmy, a truck. It was up past his windows, his windshield, the water. It was getting so high, right? My brother was living with his girlfriend and the dog downstairs. My neighbor told him his basement was flooded. So my brother woke up. He was almost submerged in the water. My neighbor woke him up. He had no idea. He was sleeping.
Oh my
He came
God.
upstairs with us, right? We had to go upstairs. We had a 3-story house and go upstairs, and we lived upstairs for a couple of days. Now, Bob, this may sound horrible, but the thing is, like, okay, people are a lot different today. Like, if this had happened in the 1940s in New York, I picture, like, 8-foot firemen smashing doors down with axes, carrying, like, puppies and kids on their back.
Absolutely. But this
And
was
then you'll be
2000s.
after that, Bob, and World War II vets behind them in rowboats, grabbing people.
That's crazy.
But it happens. They were different people, Bob. Think about it, because I said to my mom, I go, people are lazy now. They're going to keep us here, right? I said, if this is the 40s, giant firemen would be smashing doors down, grabbing people.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that was the era where you had to be a certain height, and basically only Irishmen could do it because they were big dummies.
No, but Bob, but the thing is, it's not. It's not other parts of the country, because you know often more than I do. But people can be nicer in Pennsylvania or Tennessee than they are here. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
And you know
when
your
I come
neighbors there
down,
more, right?
you know your neighbors. Now, I will say where I live in Pennsylvania's got a pretty good community. It's kind of farmland. So there's still that sense of community, sense of pride. Like they'd be out there cleaning each other's things up. Where I lived in PA, there was a bad flood when I was in college, and like to the point where the local colleges were coming out with volunteers to help clean it up. So there is a sense of community, but unfortunately, tragedy, while we highlight that it brings out the best in people, it can bring out the worst in people too.
It's horrible. It's like I picture like 8-foot firemen smashing doors down in Pennsylvania still to this day.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, VFW or volunteer fire departments, VFDs are huge in that area. But I think, Mike, we need to give 5 big like survival tips to the people dealing with Milton right now. What would your 5 survival tips be? Number 1.
Don't panic. You know what I mean? It sounds, easier said than done, but you know what? You'll be dead if you panic.
Perfect. What if they've already started panicking?
Then you got to try to take a breath and find the way out if you can.
Okay. That seems like a solid one. So stay calm. Don't panic. What's tip number 2?
Evacuate early if you can, no matter what you think. Because you may think, oh, nothing's going to happen, and you'll wind up getting stuck there. Evacuate if you can and have a place to go.
What if they haven't evacuated? Like, what if they're stuck there now?
Okay, just stay up high.
So that's step 3 is stay up high?
Stay up high and wait it out.
Okay. So how would you do that? Well, give an example, buddy.
If you have upstairs, or if you're blessed with upstairs, just go up the next steps and stay up there.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
But also, what do you call it? Be very, very stingy with your cell phone service, because you don't know how it's going to be running.
Okay. So you want to make sure you limit your texts as much as possible while you're staying high. That's tip number 3. What's number 4?
Make sure, okay, what do you call it? Just be patient and know it's going to be over before you know it.
That seems perfectly logical to me. What's number 5?
Okay, most important, right? Realize you may be stuck with people, for even if they're your family and you live with them all the time, and even though you don't see them all day long, you're going to be stuck with them for a while, and just make the best of it.
Just make the best of it. That's beautiful. I love the plan. Mike, before we move on to the commercial break, why don't you just take a minute and give some touching words of inspiration to anybody who's currently dealing with Sandy?
Well,
Or not Sandy, I'm sorry, Milton.
Anybody who's dealing with Milton right now, I've heard it's the worst storm in over 100 years in Florida. And I know people are used to, hurricanes in Florida, and this is something you're probably not used to. But the thing is, just, keep believing and keep praying to God and asking for help and just be calm. I know it's easier said than done. Don't panic. You will get out of there. And just, get along with who you're with. Stay safe. Stay dry. And, and just, if you have a phone, check up with other people. Stay in contact with people. Talk to people and just be patient. And it'll be over.
Mike, I can't think of a better way to sum it up. We're going to sell some Silk City hot sauce and leave it up to ourselves if we want to donate it to Milton, but maybe. And
okay.
We'll be right back.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Blow.
So fucking good, isn't it?
Use code Mike, M-I-K-E. People have been looking and searching for Bigfoot for years. I found him. Well, I kind of found him. Psychic Bigfoot. Use code Mike, M-I-K-E. Silk City hot sauce has a new flavor. Psychic Bigfoot. Use code Mike, M-I-K-E. Silk City hot sauce. Psychic Bigfoot. Use code Mike, M-I-K-E. I may have not found Bigfoot, but I found something just as good. Psychic Bigfoot. Code Mike.
Welcome back to Midnights with Mike at 11. Mike, joining us now is the star you've been so excited to meet the whole episode.
Absolutely.
New York's latest hero. Welcome your guest, Mike.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you. How did you come up with that name? I love that.
Well, nice to meet you, Mike. Thank you for having me on. I'm Barbs versus the world, and I think it's because I'm constantly shouting into the void, and I feel like I present good ideas, but I'm a little crazy, so people don't like to listen to them. So I feel like it's me versus the world, because it's literally me against everything else on this planet. And from the most minuscule things like my barista to society and government and all of it.
Oh, I get it, because absolutely, because I'm a fossil next to you in age, but I get what you're talking about, because first of all, I see one of the clips, right? Talking about European people with their kids kicking you, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the worst.
That annoys the living life out of me, because first of all, you know what? Those kids are kicking people and their parents don't care. What are they going to be as adults? You know what I mean? It's
they don't respect personal space either. They do not. They will be up your ass, and until I say, get the fuck away from me, or why are you up my ass, then they're like, why are you cursing? Why are you rude? And it's I asked you to move back and shot you a dirty look 5 times. I even coughed into my arm, and y'all didn't move. And your kids stepping on me, your kids, I had to experience this all summer. I had to take the ferry from Dumbo to North Williamsburg because the G train was down. And I had to wait with these tourists twice a week in the middle of the hot sweltering sun.
Oh, no.
And it was such a good practice for anger management. I wasn't good at managing the anger, though. I could not manage it very well.
Mike, I don't want to.
The thing is,
right.
I don't mean to generalize, but I find some of Euro people fucking obnoxious fucks, because, that's why I hate going to Starbucks in Midtown. They're sitting there with their fake screenplays and all bullshit and, looking at me like I'm, you know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
Before we go too far, Mike, I think it would be important for our audience who might not know Barbara did the research you did. Maybe you introduce her, explain who she is, why she's here, all that good stuff.
What I've seen, what I've briefly seen was another thing I like what you were saying. Let me ask you something, Barbara, right? What ethnicity are you? Not that it matters to me, because I like finding out what people are, because I've had friends from all around the world.
So this is my favorite. What do you think I am? What do I look like to you? And I don't take offense to anything. You can't so what do I look like?
It could be a mixture of Italian and Middle Eastern.
Oh, I've never gotten that. I usually get a mixture of Italian, never gotten Middle Eastern. No, I'm Eastern European. I'm an Eastern European. I'm Polish, Hungarian,
oh, nice.
A little bit of Ukrainian. I'm like what the Nazis were trying to shove in the oven.
Fucking idiots. No, I love that culture, because my friend Chris, a good friend of mine, his wife is from the Czech. He was really calm from me. My best friend's Ukrainian. I love the Eastern Europe. You guys are awesome people and great food. Are you kidding me?
It's great. I love it. And like I always tell people, I come from the part of Europe where like you beat your kids. It's like cigarettes, vodka, like you beat your kids still.
They're fun
Europe.
people.
Like
I love them. I love the Eastern Europe. They're nice people, laid back. It's a shame that the Russians fucking...
they're very welcoming. Like they're very welcoming. You go to Poland, you go to Ukraine, you go to Czech, you go to Slovakia, Slovenia. They're very welcoming.
Beautiful woman, great food, and I love it because they're down to earth. And the cool thing is, I could eat pierogies all day long, kibasa, but I'd be like 800 pounds if I did, believe me.
That's
Well,
what
that
killed my
food's good.
grandparents.
Well, you know what? At least they have some fun, I'm sure. Like, you know what I mean? At least they, because I'm curious, because I always had friends all around the world, you know what I mean? And the thing is, one point you loved that I loved, what I enjoyed watching you was when you said about, people complaining about immigrants in this country, right? First of all, nobody has the balls to complain about anybody being an immigrant here. First of all, because nobody is originally an immigrant. I don't care if he has 40 seconds or 400 years. This land was
100%.
stolen is right from Native American people.
We live on stolen land.
Right? It is stolen land, but think about it, because the Euro stole this from Native Americans and devastated black people here as well. Devastation took place twice here, genocide twice. And the thing is, like, we're being punished now, I think.
That's true. I think that's true. And I think, I complain, I guess I'm a little bit less politically correct than most women in Brooklyn would be, I would say. It's probably my upbringing. So, and I'll complain, like, I come from immigrants. I've worked for immigration, like, firms. Like, I've been an interpreter and, like, paralegal. And I think immigration, like, yeah, it's great. Like, we should be 100%, like, we are, like, there's Statue of Liberty, like, send me your masses, you're poor, you're tired, you're everything. But there's, like, a process for it. And I think that those processes have flown out the windows. And
Oh, yeah.
that's the one thing I'll say is that, but yeah, that's where I was a hero today. I actually I saved someone today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Glad.
I was at Bellevue Hospital. I don't know if the viewers or the listeners, are familiar with Bellevue Hospital. It is the entrance to purgatory, the main trauma hospital in Midtown Manhattan, where they take, like, cops, Rikers, prisoners, like
Well,
your mental patients, and then people who just have really bad broken bones and trauma. But so I had to pick up some medical records, and this is like the fourth time, Bobby knows, it's been a whole saga that I've been trying to get something from them. And I was waiting online, and there was a migrant woman with a little kid. And I'm not trying to be racist, but you could tell she had I also peeked at her license. It said Mexico. And I'm not prejudiced. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be prejudiced. But, it's a lot, especially seeing people in New York like that. And, like, you're coming to a public hospital and kind of resources are being divided, I think, like, spread thin. But anyway, her and her child were having a rough time. And her kid kept trying to crawl into the garbage. For some reason, he was trying to open a garbage and
Wow.
crawl into it. While the mom's not really paying attention. And at one point, the kid's almost in the garbage. But I didn't save the kid from the garbage. I'm not going to touch that filthy kid. That's disgusting. I'm going to get sick.
He wanted to go home.
No. He's
I'm
like,
sorry.
ship me away.
You are hysterical. I know you're Canadian also, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I try to be.
No, you are one, because that's hilarious. That's the comic mindset. It really is.
Thank you. But yeah, so the mom grabs him, and then those Purell dispensers on the side, like in the hospital rooms and offices, the automatic ones weren't working. So then I carry around a tiny bottle of Purell and Wet Ones wipes, and I bravely offered it to them. Even though I don't speak Spanish, I put it on their hands and I shared my wet wipes with them.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think that is a selfless act, and I am a hero for that.
No, you are, because we should do at least one of those things a day if we can for people.
No, I am patting myself on the back, but it was something that normally, like, usually I am such, like, a really hateful, bitchy person. I probably would have been like, ew, okay, that's gross, control your kid. But I was like, honestly, yeah, you probably don't want to be touching your kid either, because your hands are dirty now. Like, you're probably pissed your kid's doing this as well. So, like, I get it. Maybe control your kid a little bit more, but I'm not a mom.
Mike,
No, but you probably are. I like your honesty, which is really cool. You know what I mean? Because that's the key to comedy. I myself,
Thank you.
no matter where I go, I don't care. And I don't care if people like me or not. I mean, that sounds horrible, but I really don't.
Mike, did you realize you were in the presence of such a great hero like this?
She's such a nice. You are like really cool.
Come on, Mike.
And don't take this wrong with me. You're hot as that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Mike, you don't tell heroes they're hot as F.
I'm
Where would
sorry.
you rank Barb?
I'm a human being. I'm a man, though. I gotta say something.
I'm gonna say, Mike, you sound like, I don't know where you're from, but you sound like a lot of like the people or like older gentlemen I grew up around. Like I grew up in Rockaway Beach in Queens. So you sound like a lot of people. Like, are you Irish?
I'm Irish and Italian. I'm from Staten
Oh,
Island.
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's like, oh my God, you're from Staten Island. Do you know like Pete Davidson and Vinny and the other one, Colin Jost?
I know
think you mean
Pete.
does
Since he
Pete
started
know Mike?
comedy.
Oh, does Pete know Mike? You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
I know Pete.
Yeah.
Colin, I don't know. Vinny, I really don't know, but I know Pete out of all of them.
Very nice. Okay. I was curious because I know like Vinny, they're actually all three trying. Like I know Vinny's trying to do comedy, but I'm glad Pete got to meet like a great like Mike. That's good. You probably
Thanks,
helped him
because-
get on SNL. You probably.
Well, that was his own doing. He had the ability, but that's the thing. You know what?
Osama's doing?
I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in this business. People rag about stuff. You just got to focus and don't worry about what happened. You know what I mean? There's room for everybody. Everybody thinks it's like, one spot. Everybody's an individual, especially today. I mean, look what we're doing right now, right? When I started comedy years ago, you could never do that. But we're in an age of empowerment now. And if you're not empowering yourself, you're going to be lost.
Oh my God, I feel like I should be paying like for a therapy session. Do you want like the $50 I pay my therapist?
No, that's okay.
Mike, I know Barb's got a busy schedule. She's doing the whole rounds of all the hero talk shows.
I'm good. I'm good for. I'm chilling. I'm still good. I'm good.
I like talking to you. Please come back. It'll always be fun.
Before she goes,
Thank
Mike,
you.
where would you rank Barb amongst the heroes of New York? So you've got like Sully with the Hudson. You've got the firefighters on 9/11.
You got Rudy Giuliani fighting the passport.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's take that out of the equation. Now, that's not fair to put them against that.
Right. She's so far ahead, you would say.
No. I'm saying that's not fair to compare anybody to that.
No,
you know what I mean?
Could you?
During 9/11, I was not saving anybody. I was a kindergartner wondering why I was getting out of school and where my dad was. So,
Well,
my dad was fine. He was walking home from the financial district. So.
We know,
what's
Barb,
funny?
you're not on SNL.
Did you mention that? My neighbor was a kindergarten kid at the time, and his dad was a fireman, right? And he came over to me. He drew a picture of what he thought that 9/11 was, and he was crying hysterical. He drew him a picture,
Horrible.
and he goes, "I don't know if my dad's going to come home." Crying like that. I hugged him. I said, "No, he'll be back." And it's horrible.
It is horrible.
I thought you said that was a funny story, Mike.
No.
Kid grows up to be Pete Davidson.
There we go.
kidding.
I wish. But the thing about Vinny is, I've heard, he works very hard what he does. I mean, he's out there grinding like everybody else is.
Well, all the Jersey Shore cast really does grind for their money, and they do really put a lot of work in. But going back to 9/11 and Pete Davidson, Bobby's right, because I already have trauma. Like, my dad already abandoned me. Like, we already have issues.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
maybe
me
if he
too.
died,
My
I
dad
would
in
be
childhood.
on SNL. Like, maybe if he died, I would be on SNL. I wouldn't just be sitting in my room trying to get open mics and booked on spot.
Yeah, but my dad abandoned me too. I know what you're talking about. My dad turned his back on us in childhood.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. That was kind of like the Roman thing, though, right?
Yeah. It's horrible, but you know what? You
How
got to
many-
learn
I'm
by
sorry to
example,
hear-
though.
I'm sorry to hear that. It sucks.
I know. But you know what? It happened, and it's on him, not us.
Facts.
Exactly. I can't wait until this show's huge, and then he
He'll
can
blow
come
up.
crawling his way back.
Well,
and
he
be like, "I'm sorry,
died, so it's over with.
Well, he's watching from heaven, Mike.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Absolutely, because no, but it was. I enjoyed it. And what do you call it? I keep losing my train of thought when it comes to these apps now. Instagram.
Oh, it's my TikTok.
Oh,
It's probably
TikTok.
my TikTok.
Yes, I'm so sorry. That's what I was like, because I want, before I interview anybody, I want to see what they're about. You got to know a
course.
little bit about them. You know what I mean, right? And like I said, you were very interesting. I'm like, she's going to be fun. I'm like,
Well,
because,
thank you.
and I was like, please don't have somebody come on here that's going to fucking would, be horrific. You know what I mean? Right? You're awesome.
She was great.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you guys
Before
for
we
having me on.
before we end our segment, Mike, can you give perhaps like one, like let's say this was the big day where they're announcing Barb's versus the World Day in New York for her act of heroism. Can you give the keynote speech, like about
Okay.
why she's such a hero and how great she is, and then we'll call it.
Okay.
You don't have to.
And
Okay.
I want to introduce a woman who I met that was on a show I have. She's a very unique individual, kind, good-hearted. We need more people like this on the planet. And I think she's heroic, terrific, and she's super attractive. I put that in there because I like throwing things in there like that. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm not a pervert. Don't think I am. I'm just having fun. I'm so sorry.
But I've bartended on dive bars. I've met my fair share of perverts.
No, but the thing is,
that's why
like,
we're
I
friends.
never would say anything inappropriate to you. You know what I mean? I'm not that kind of guy.
No, for sure. For sure.
You
How are
know,
you gonna fill the rest of that minute though, Mike? You got what 44
Oh,
more
you
seconds
told-
of speech.
and I think she's sensational, and we need how to save the world.
I do.
Instead of
And I
fighting
think
it,
she has
she
the
needs to save it.
capability, capability and the mindset to do so.
Well, you heard it
Thank
here
you.
first. Barb's, thanks so much for joining us. We'll
was
send
so
you a
much-
bottle.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry my tech stuff was all messed up now.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Wait, the hearts come out when you do that.
Yeah.
Wait, or did you do that, Bobby?
No, the hearts come
Oh.
out when you
Oh my
like.
God, that's so cute.
I love it.
that.
On that note, guys, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna send Barb a bottle
Well,
of Soak
thank
City
you so
hot
much.
sauce.
Please stay in touch with us for sure because
I
you were so
know,
much fun.
absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Great
can't
to
wait
meet
to see
you.
how this comes out. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on, Mike.
Of course, my
Talk
pleasure.
to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Blow.
So fucking good, isn't it?
You're looking for a little spice in your life? Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E, for all your tasty needs. You'll get the best of the best. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E. It's a variety of hot sauces for all tastes and needs. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E, and tell them I sent you. You'll be glad you did. Silk City Hot Sauce.
Michael Kennedy's got the fucking good, facts, isn't so it? yeah, he'll take you back to everywhere. From ancient Rome to the wild, wild west. Mike makes history the absolute best. Learning starts when Mike's on the scene. History's cool, know what I mean? From pyramids to kings and queens, with Mike O'Ketty, it's a history tree.
Hey everybody, I want to do a history segment tonight. I want to talk about a time period I'm familiar with. I didn't live through it, but I lived through it with my grandparents. The Great Depression in the United States.
Going through the White House, call me FDR. Got polio, but I'm still the star. Can't stand haters, man, I mean it literal. Rolling in my wheelchair, presidential miracle. Great Depression, nah, that's old news. Whole America chill, I got New Deal moves. Full turn, baby, can't nobody stop me. I drop more bombs than your mom on Nagasaki. Eleanor, she busy, what can I say? She run the house, I just save the day. Yeah, don't need legs to crush these clowns. I'm the dopest president that's ever been around.
It lasted from like October 1929, the stock market crash, probably up until World War II started. That's when it ended it, because World War II put the economy back together and everything else. It was an unusual time to live because my grandparents were born 1914 and 1918, right? So they were like 15 or like 11 when it happened, when it began. And I wanted to put they had a lot of different quirky things about them. Not quirky, but unique qualities of the Depression because they always, Bob, anybody who grew up during that era had tons and tons of food in the house. You know what? Because they were deprived during the Depression. And there was shortages of everything, and they were afraid that they run out. So my grandma always had tons of food in the house, right? But we were so fat as kids, she'd scream at us for grabbing too much food. She had to pull the food away from us after a while, right? And the thing is, like, they were just so used to that kind of stuff. But you know what else was unique during that time? That's when prohibition started in the 20s. My grandfather's family, I never met them because they all died, like decades before I was born. His parents used to make bathtub gin
Oh, really?
in a house for entertainment and selling to other people, maybe, right? Because I don't know, Bob, that some of those boozers in those days weren't the most legal. And the thing is, people were blind, got sick from that kind of stuff and everything else. Low quality, mixed turpentine, all kinds of crap in those drinks in those days, right? Just to get high. It's like people sniffing paint years ago, same thing. and the thing is, my grandma was a very unusual person, right? But she did some things during the Depression to make some extra money to the family, which is pretty unique, right? Well, a little bit after the Depression, I'm taking you to early World War II. They used to give people ration stamps for everything, gasoline, and you had to buy stuff, right? My grandfather worked for the government. He worked in the shipyard, so he needed extra stamps, right?
Okay.
My grandmother would sell to the neighbors for some cash. And $5 was a lot in 1940 something, right? That bought you a couple gallons of gas, and the stamp was worth $5. She used to sell them for 10 to 15
Holy cow!
each. This is even worse, but I'm going to kick out of this, right? My grandparents lived in the Bronx, right? My grandmother used to make meatball heroes, right? Okay, down in the basement where they lived was a bookie joint downstairs in the basement, right? So one of the bookies smelled the sauce one day, and my grandmother said, "Do you want to have a hero?" She gave it to him for free, right? He goes, "These are good. Can you make some for me and my friends?" So she started cooking for bookies downstairs. Listen to this, right? But Bob, listen to this, right? A sandwich was probably like, a quarter, 35 cents, 40 cents in the 40s. She was selling them for $2 a hero back in 1940s.
Oh my God!
But, and they were complaining about $2. And she said to them, "What are you guys kidding me? For $5, you'll be wrecking people's legs if they don't pay." Really, right? She's making $2 of what do you call it, a sandwich. 1940 something, Bob. She saved like over $1,000 and put a down payment on the house in Staten Island and moved out here for that.
Holy cow!
But Bob, but talking about the Depression, right? When my grandfather's father came here from Italy, it was before the Great Depression, maybe a little before. He couldn't find a job because he spoke no English and he was limited to what he could do, right? Mm-hmm. He went out and bought a Shishline box. He just didn't go to the regular place. He went to a place where all wealthy people were in Midtown. You know what I mean? Like people with money, showing like businessmen's shoes, and people had a couple of coins in their pocket. And instead of sitting on his ass and complaining and doing nothing about it, he did something. And I think, Bobby, right, that's where I get my ambition from him.
That makes sense.
His ambition, am I right or wrong? Because, he could have went the other way, Bob, and grabbed the gun and the knife and went after people.
That's very true, and you do see a lot of the new migrants doing that.
It's scary when people happens to me, but I mean, no, but like I said, God, and that was a different group of people, Bob, from the Great Depression. Like I have my grandparents' values, but they were also wrong about a lot of other stuff too, Bob. I'm not saying they were correct about everything going on. They, to be honest with you, you know this as well as I do. That group, they called them the Great Generation, was kind of racist, basically themselves, am I right or wrong?
I think you're right. I think by today's standards, they definitely would be. But I also think there was a period where it wasn't hyper under a microscope, so you could comment on race and not actually be racist.
Absolutely. Everything is analyzing, ripping things apart now. Like, I mean, Bob, it's like they had a problem with, like, Mr. Potato Head not making him transgender or something. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
I mean,
now, Mike, let me ask you, how did the Great Depression start? How did we kind of get through it, and what wrapped it up? You told us some anecdotes, but let's get the broad history.
It started in October. I think it was around, it might have been Halloween, no come the exact date. The stock market crashed in 1929 because the roaring 20s were a time when people were carefree, spending money they didn't have, you know what I mean? And caused the deficit, and credit cards people had. That's when the credit cards first came out. You know what I mean? And people thought, oh yeah, you know what I mean? I have 50,000 in credit. That means I'm worth 100,000. You know what I mean? They just didn't realize, and spendthrifts, and then like the market, you know, went bottom up, and they didn't have to go to the bank, and banks closed. People out of work. There are millions of people out of work, and it lasted like as if from like October 1929 till I would say officially December 7, 1941, when they attacked Pearl Harbor. Took us out of it.
I kind of agree. What do you think about all the work programs?
They were great for people to work. And one thing I find kind of wrong, Bob, was I don't know how true it is. I've heard it from a lot of people, and especially people from that era when I was growing up, that President Roosevelt knew Pearl Harbor was being attacked, but he let it happen anyway.
Oh, you think so?
It's possible, Bob, because you know why? What takes people out of depression? Wars. Because wars create economy, Bob. It's horrible to say.
It's like that old song, War. What is it good for? Getting us out of the Great Depression.
Yeah, people said, Bob, people claimed for years he knew it was happening. You know what I mean? Because, first of all, Bob, right, a thing I disagree with him was, for years, right, our country had the, you know, closed-door policy in other countries. They kept the nose out of other people's business. They didn't bother with stuff, you know what I mean? Like, we just kept to ourselves. We were separate, right? And it was terrible because, Bob, look what was going on in Nazi Germany and the Jewish people being massacred over there. And the thing is, the U.S. was a world power at that time. They could have did something to him over there if they wanted to.
Oh, I agree completely. And I think it's a funny thread to kind of follow where you say they used the war, they ignored known threats to kind of get us out of the Great Depression. If you think like, I don't know, 2001 when we were on the housing bubble collapse.
Oh, yeah.
Only there was some way to ignore some news you might have, get us in a war, and generate a war economy.
It's insane, Bob, because it's like, and that's the thing, because, and I don't know if he knew it was going to happen, but it was fucking completely horrible. But at the same time, he got people out of a horrible situation he was living in, which a dozen years already at least.
Holy cow.
Right? I mean, but the same thing, Bob, I don't see, like, how he could let people be butchered in Europe like that and not do anything about it when we were a world power.
Well, were we considered a world power at that point?
We were powerful, but I don't know if we could have invaded Germany and took them on, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But I think that might be next time is World War II and our involvement. I think you kind of nailed the Great Depression. One last thing, though, before we get out of here. My favorite thing to come out of the Great Depression was the musical Annie.
Oh, Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that musical at all?
I know about a greedy-looking guy and a little girl with curly hair. That's what.
Well, we call that the Epstein story in today's day and age. But back then, it was a beautiful story. Do you know the song Tomorrow? Could you perhaps end this segment?
Tomorrow. That's all I know.
No, tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. You're only a day away. You got this.
One thing I do know from those were on the good ship lollipop. That's why again.
All right, we're going to do a Shirley Temple medley. We're going to end this segment, throw it to commercial, and come back and wish everybody a good evening. Let's hear your Shirley Temple medley.
On the good ship, lollipop. That's all as far as it goes. Lollipop.
So fucking good, isn't it?
Looking for a little spice in your life? Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E, for all your tasty needs. You'll get the best of the best. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E. It's a variety of hot sauces for all tastes and needs. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E, and tell them I sent you. You'll be glad you did. Silk City Hot Sauce. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce and use code MIKE, M-I-K-E.
So fucking good, isn't it?
Midnights with Mike at 11 on the dot, where the jokes are warm and the laughs are hot. Mike Bochetti's the name, he's got the charm. With a face like a teddy, no cause for alarm. You've seen him with De Niro, you've seen him with Stern, but now he's here solo. It's Mike's big turn. He's got the jokes, the wit, the surprise. He's Staten Island's greatest comedic prize. It's Midnights with Mike at 11 on the clock. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, just watch. Oh, he's a man of many quirks with jokes so bright. You laugh so hard, you'll stay up all night. It's Midnights with Mike at 11 on the clock. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, just watch. The man of many quirks at hard and she at out he just there, he and she. Got Matthews, got the jokes, yes, though with a surprise. He's Mark, may God pray for right. It's Midnights with Mike, 11 on the dot, where the jokes are warm and the laughs are hot. Showbies and only right. Mike's taking us on silly midnight slide. That's rats, and June Duty in tight. It's Mike at 11 making your just right.